Another weekend, another 7-star raid. Literally only a single week after the last one, but hey. And so here's my guide on how to beat the 7-star Hisuian Samurott. First, let's start by addressing the elephant in the room, in Samurott's ability, Sharpness. Sharpness boosts the damage of all slicing moves by 50%, which in this case is every single one of his main attacks. So all of Samurott's moves are getting a damage buff right out of the gate. As for its moves, it of course comes with Ceaseless Edge, its unique attack. This is a strong dark-type move that sets spikes whenever it lands, and every time your Pokemon gets KO'd and has to come back on the field, the spikes are going to dig into it and do some damage. And with the spikes stacking up to 3 times, you're going to be losing up to a quarter of your HP bar every time you come back out. Mind you, it does have to use the move on you for this to happen, which means if your Pokemon's not really weak to dark moves, you're probably not going to have to worry about it too much. It also comes along with Razor Shell, which is quite possibly the strongest attack in its kit. It is a decently high damage water move, getting a boost from its Sharpness ability, and it also has a boosted chance to crit. And since the Samurott is Terra Water, the stab bonus on this move is now 2 times instead of 1.5. Speaking of moves with a high crit rate, it also comes with X-Scissor, a strong bug move, also boosted by its ability. X-Scissor lets it cover its bases against grass types, which is one of its 2 weaknesses. So if you're going to run a grass type in this raid, you might want to make sure that its secondary type resists bugs so you can bring that to neutral damage. Capping off its more frequently used moves, we have Sacred Sword, a strong fighting move that ignores defense buffs. So if you're planning to counter the high damage in this raid by boosting your defense, this Pokemon has an answer for that. Getting into its other moves that it only seems to use as scripted actions, Samurott comes equipped with Swords Dance, which honestly at this point, if a 7-star raid boss isn't boosting its attacks somehow, I would be shocked. And remember how I made specific mention that 2 of its moves had a boosted crit rate? Samurott also comes with Focus Energy, boosting Samurott's critical hit rate even higher, meaning that Razor Shell and X-Scissor have a 50% chance to critical hit you. And the last of its moves is Bulldoze. Nothing really to say here, it's not really a very strong move, and he only does it once over the course of the whole raid, so electric types don't really have to worry about it all that much. Now, for some things you have to keep an eye out for over the course of the raid, Samurott puts up its shield very quickly into the raid, and it doesn't account for that much of its HP bar. It'll go up at about 80% remaining HP, or 90% time remaining, which realistically means you have about 2 to 3 turns before it goes up. So if you're planning on dropping any utility moves on it, I would definitely recommend doing that in the first 2 turns so you don't lose out. Immediately as the raid starts, it will use Swords Dance once, and then immediately go into Bulldoze. This is, oddly enough, in my experience, the only time Samurott will use either of these moves, which is weird for a 7-star raid boss because usually they continue boosting their attack power over the course of the whole raid. But it's something we can take advantage of, so we'll take advantage of it. As for Focus Energy, as much as you would assume it would be using that up front to keep its crit rate high, it only does it when it has half of its HP remaining, which means you don't have to worry very much about those critical hits at the beginning of the raid. And by the time it does use it, it has no shield left, and you're probably all set up to do all the damage in the world. So it doesn't really have that much time to capitalize on it. Last thing to keep in mind, it will reset your stats twice over the course of the raid. Once when a little less than 90% of the raid timer's left, and another time when it's a little over half HP. As for resetting its own stats, it only does that once, about the same time it uses Focus Energy at about half health. This means if you're going to bring a build that focuses on lowering its defense values, you have about 3 turns to get those in before the shield goes up, and when his shield goes down and he has half his health left, you just reset him. As for the strategy to go into this raid with when picking your Pokemon, high base defense values are king here. With both Sacred Sword and boosted crit rate on this thing, boosting your defense values really won't do anything for you. But your base value can't be taken away from you. And especially considering he starts the raid at +2 attack with his Sharpness ability boosting all of his attacks, a good number of Pokemon you would assume would work in this scenario just get one shot right off the bat. So double check your Pokemon and bring something with a high defense stat. Though once again, with it only using Swords Dance the one time at the beginning of the raid, you don't have to worry as much about lowering his attack as you might think. And beyond that, lowering it below neutral really isn't going to do much for you in the long run either. There's one critical hit and he's hitting you at full power. Electric types are wonderful here because he has no attacks that are super effective against them except for Bulldoze. And even then, a tanky enough electric type will tank that with no problem. You still have to worry about the rest of his damage, but all in all, it's very doable. Now, onto what I know a lot of you are here for. Here are my raids to take on the 7-star Hisuian Samurott. Starting off strong, we're bringing one of the old 7-star raid bosses with us, Chestnut. With fighting types being resistant to bug, Chestnut gets rid of that one weakness, and his incredibly high defense stat makes him very usable in this scenario. With Reflect to help half the incoming damage unless he crits you, with Grassy Terrain for a slight damage boost as well as passive healing, you basically click Swords Dance 3 times, and then Seed Bomb away. Chestnut survives almost everything being thrown at him, heals a little bit, and does massive damage with Seed Bomb. And then when you're all set up, you go Terra Grass and continue breaking the shield. And while doing so, Shell Bell will recover all of your HP. Next up in our builds, we have Rotom-Wash. Rotom is a very tanky Pokemon in the first place, and is completely immune to ground moves with his Levitate ability, so he takes no damage from Bulldoze at the beginning of the raid. Simply start the raid with Will-O-Wisp to burn the target, because a burn will lower the attack power of the target even when they critical hit. And then just Charge Beam. Charge Beam has a 70% chance to boost your special attack every time you use it, so the more you use it, the stronger you get, and Shell Bell keeps healing you the entire time. Go Terra Electric as soon as you can, and if you see the opportunity to do it without being KO'd that turn, set Electric Terrain to give your electric moves an even further boost. If over the course of the raid you manage to get to +6 special attack from the Charge Beams, switch over to Thunderbolt for the bonus damage. Next up on the list we have Miraidon. Now, unlike our Rotom build, Miraidon does get hit by Bulldoze, but as we discovered, it really doesn't take that much damage from it in this scenario. Just set Reflect, and keep using Metal Sound until the shield goes up, and just keep smacking it with Electro Drift. Go Terra Electric as early as you're able to, and your attack should do a massive amount of damage to this thing. And when the shield goes down, 3 more Metal Sounds, and you're back to doing full damage. Now, if you're taking a little more damage than you'd like, instead of Electro Drift, just switch over to Parabolic Charge, and you will double the amount of HP you're healing with every attack. As an added bonus, if you're using both Rotom-Wash and Miraidon together, Miraidon sets Electric Terrain for Rotom so he doesn't have to. And after 5 turns pass and the terrain goes away, Rotom can reset it. Not to mention that Rotom also takes full advantage of the special defense drops from Metal Sound. Next up, a little bit of an outlier in this build set, we have Belly Bowl. Just start the raid by setting Reflect to half the incoming damage, lower Samurott's special defense with Acid Spray, and just sit there and spam Parabolic Charge for ever-increasing damage that will also heal you. While holding the Metronome item, as long as Belly Bolt is continuing to use the same attack, the damage for that attack will continue to go up. So even if you don't get in all 3 Acid Sprays to lower the special defense, and you just go straight to Parabolic Charge, you'll still be getting boosted damage while healing the whole time. Go Terra Electric as soon as you're capable for that extra damage boost on the shield, and just sit back and win. The extra bonus here is that Acid Spray will continue lowering special defense on Samurott even after the shield goes up, and as an added bonus I have Chilling Water on here just in case you think Samurott's hitting a little too hard. Now finally, for a support build, Cloyster. An absolute classic on this channel for support builds, Cloyster is incredibly physically tanky, and with the Shell Armor ability making him immune to critical hits, he's especially relevant in this scenario. With Life Dew to heal your teammates, Helping Hand to boost their damage, and Aqua Ring to make sure you have some passive healing as well, aside from the leftovers. Cloyster even comes with Stabbed Chilling Water to lower the target's attack power. The only downside to this build is you can't set Reflect yourself, and Sacred Sword is going to do a fair amount of damage to you. But between the leftovers and the Life Dew, you more than make up for it. And after a couple Chilling Waters, it's not really an issue anymore. Also, if you get a couple Chilling Waters in, you can go Terra Water as soon as possible, and get rid of your one weakness. Now I know not everybody has reliable teammates to work together with, and online randos can be an absolute pain in these scenarios. As such, here's how you can solo the 7-star Hisuian Samurott raid with Breloom. Start off the raid by using Charm to take away the attack bonuses from Swords Dance, and then turn 2 you use Worry Seed. Worry Seed will take away Samurott's Sharpness ability, lowering its damage on all of its attacks, which will give you the survivability you need for the entire raid. Once you've done all that, you probably have 1 turn remaining until he shields and resets your stat, so get in a Seed Bomb to raise your Terra Charge. At this point, use Swords Dance once or twice, keeping an eye on your HP, and start attacking with Seed Bomb again, until you have your full gauge, and go Terra Grass. Use Seed Bomb to chip away the shield and heal yourself a little bit, and maybe sneak in another Swords Dance if you're not quite maxed yet. Once the shield is broken, he'll probably reset your stats again, so just reset another 3 Swords Dances and go to town. Don't worry about getting KO'd here, because when you come back, you will no longer be weak to Bug, and therefore X-Scissor won't be doing as much damage. Just get yourself to max attack, and use Seed Bomb to seal the deal, and Samurott will go down. One of the side benefits of this build is the Effect Spore ability, which means every time Samurott hits you, it is a chance to get a status effect. It could end up Poison, giving you some damage over time, Burn to lower its attack power, or it could end up Paralyzed, which just gives you extra turns to work with. Either way, it's a benefit for you. Thank you for watching this video. If you like my Terra Raid content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe for more. It really helps the channel. Thank you very much. Peace.